Jeremy. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the minor delay. We were having some technological difficulties. Wanted to make sure that we had a good connection on both ends. But to introduce myself, I am Rosemary Domina. I am the founder of Reaching New Depths Coaching, and this is Real Talk on Self-Love. This is my first ever live discussion on this topic, and I'm really excited for my guest today. He is a true friend of mine since 2012. We used to dance together in a hip hop company, so he has some really great moves. And his name is Jeremy Lautan. But before he gets into it, let me tell you a little bit more about him. He's a master teacher, master coach, and all-around pure-hearted being. He has a master's in teaching along with an MBA and a credential as a professional certified coach through the International Coach Federation. He just launched his own coaching company. He's called The Moment Coach, and on Valentine's Day of this year. His mission is to be water. His vision is everyone realize the power of their drop of water in the larger ocean of life. Very deep. He is someone where he knows his purpose is to teach peace. And anyone who has met him, who has had a very deep conversation with him, knows this guy and that he is deep just like water. He can take you into the depths of your own thoughts and process to help you create something new with yourself and inspire you to just become a new version of you. And he has, I can say even for myself, that he definitely has inspired me in my coaching journey and just as a journey as a person. He is like my brother from another mother. Let's put it that way. He is awesome. So Jeremy, it's great to have you on this call. Yeah. Thank you for joining today. How are you feeling?
Well, after that introduction, I feel like, I'm done. I'm good. You know
That's all everyone needs to know.
Just follow the bio and you know what? Enjoy the ride. As we say in America, live and let live.
Well, awesome. I'm really, really, really happy, blessed, and full of gratitude for you to be my first guest on Real Talk Self-Love. And there's a big reason why I chose you, because in the last few years, you yourself have gone through a very turning journey. And I don't want to give too much details. I want you to tell your story, but you are someone where I think in this community, there are probably people who have family members who are going through a similar thing, or they themselves are also going through it. And you are, again, a true example of someone who works every single day to take care of yourself. And you face, I mean, I've seen it personally myself, but I also know that you face your struggles, but you overcome it. And I think that's the journey about self-love that not a lot of people discuss out loud, is the hard times, the times we're vulnerable, and how do we get through that? Like, it's okay to talk about these things. So I'm going to leave it to you to share your story, Jeremy.
Yeah, the story probably actually begins with Rose. Doesn't it always begin with the person on the other end, since that's the person you're connected to in the moment? Yeah, so honestly, Rose and I share a very similar journey in terms of connection to ourselves again after connecting with another person, seeing that through its own journey, and then connecting into source. So that's been it ever since I was born. Up until this moment, 37 years later, on the 7th of July, a little over after 7. And I'm here. This is what self-love looks like. And if you're looking at Rose, that's what self-love looks like there. So, dance it out. Self-love, dance it out.
Gotcha. So Jeremy, I'm going to share with them a little bit about your history, which I know I have the okay to do. Jeremy was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Which type is it?
Bipolar 1.
Bipolar 1. So can you elaborate a little bit more on what happened? Do you remember what happened when you first were diagnosed and what you personally were going through?
Yeah, diagnosis is a difficult thing. I feel like, just like labels of any other kind that we're given, the minute we leave the womb, to be honest, we're given a label. And this is just another label that I was given. March 16, 2016. I was coming back from a trip, and only to then be diagnosed as a crazy person in an office a Kaiser Permanente because I had experienced what my first psychiatrist calls a happy mania. FYI, that's not in the DSM. That's a statistical manual on mental illnesses like homosexuality back in the 80s, because references are important. And so, yeah, I had to be like, I'm crazy. Oh, I'm the craziest crazy. So bipolar 1 disorder, I learned, is the most intense kind of bipolar disorder. So shout out to my bipolar people out there. Represent, which means I can go to the depths of depression. For me, that included suicidal ideation in 2018. I didn't want to be here anymore. I much would have rather been up there in heaven with my grandmother, because I believe in heaven. And if you believe in too many things all at once, that's a hyper religiosity, which is a symptom in that same book of 3 letters. So had to also acknowledge that too many beliefs in Western medicine can give you that diagnosis of crazy. When you believe in just one thing, which is divine intervention, then you come back to self-love, right? So the integration of that diagnosis, Rosie, to get back to your point, was that it's hard. You get the diagnosis, you work through it, take the medicine, and then you do the best you can to integrate back into society. Because once you've officially lost your mind, the world actually doesn't make sense. So it does make sense to want to be really sad.
No, thanks for sharing that, Jeremy. If you don't mind me asking, what kind of treatments, or who did you seek out for treatment? Was it a psychiatrist?
I didn't seek out a psychiatrist.
Okay.
I
Gotcha.
sought out a martial arts teacher in Indonesia.
Nice. And
Yeah.
what did this martial arts teacher teach you? What kind of things did you guys discuss and go through?
We discussed the power of prana. So in Sanskrit, that is similar to chi or ki. In the Philippines, we would just say yes. Welcome. We welcome all things, all people, all races, all kinds, all genders, all nationalities. And so I sought a martial arts teacher who built their own bonsai tree, and they decided to call it a martial art next to a river. So what I learned is that I can heal myself, because in the self, there's only us. There's only we. There's only we. Yes, right? And so I learned what I could learn from being in Jakarta. Prayer has also been another form of just, as they say at Alcoholics Not So Anonymous, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to have the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So honestly, if I break it down into terms we all know, I take my meds: meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep. Keep it simple. Don't need to come up with a new book or paradigm. That's it. Everybody take their meds.
Gotcha. But how did you find that balance with everything? How with meds, and how did you find the journaling, the meditation? How did you find these things to be helpful for you?
I got a coach like Rose. You integrate, you integrate Western medicine with philosophies of coaching, which are Eastern in nature, and you get help along the way. So part of that journey from how do I deal with the lows of my lows and the heights of my heights. So the support network has included mental health professionals, right? So those could be nurses, coaches, therapists, psychiatrists. So just going with the flow, I meet with my therapist every week, and I meet with my psychiatrist once a month. If I'm very episodic, I'll meet with him every week. And then you just taper it off to the support that you need, right? It's like business.
Wow. No, that's awesome. I mean, I think also being a witness to your journey too, I've seen that you've tried on a lot of suits. You tried on a lot of different things, trying to figure out and experiment what really works for you, and what really works for you from a very deep part of you. what is it now that you incorporate in your everyday life on a daily basis? Do you have specific exercises that you do every day to make sure that you feel very clear with yourself? I know you mentioned, the medication part of it, but the medication is not everything for you in your case, right? And I think I've also seen that too, when you were first diagnosed, that you're like, I don't want to be on these meds every day. They're not everything. They weren't the main thing for you. And I think, I am a nurse practitioner as well, and I've
You're
seen a lot of pharmacists.
You're a doctor.
Nurse practitioner, sweetie. I
She's
gotta
a doctor.
that.
It's the new word for nurse practitioner. Get it together, doctoral system.
All I'm gonna say is nurse practitioner has its own role, man. Just letting you know,
I've got the philosopher's stone. Okay.
Just saying, putting it out there for all my
MP.
MPs. But
Okay,
just
master.
saying that,
Yes.
medication is not everything. And I've also seen this with patients that I have encountered, that the meds make them feel very fuzzy. They don't make them feel clear. And I've also seen that with your journey too. So I'm really interested to know, like, at what turning point when you're on the meds, you were like, this is not going to be everything. I have to find other things to help me feel clear. I'm curious to know, like, what that is in your journey to help you find these tools. And I know you said you reached out to a coach. Love that. But how did you know that things would work for you? Did you try it for a week? Did you try it for a month, like every day for a month? How did you solidify, these techniques?
The only answer I can go to is discipline. Yeah, it's like any other practice, right? We have nurse practitioners, janitorial practitioners, domestic, international practitioners. So I just keep my eyes open, honestly, and I stay connected to who I've always been. No need to fight back the tears. You don't deserve my tears, do you?
Your tears are beautiful, by the way. Just saying.
You held some of my deepest tears.
Sweetie, I got the tissue ready. If I could, through the camera, give this to you right now. No, I love that you're being real. I love that you're being real.
Yeah. So discipline, to be honest. So balancing East and West, right? It's like yin and yang. It's like, I don't know, Nagal and Dominion, right? You just balance it out. It's being awake at work. It's a book by a white guy who wrote 26 Principles on Buddhism at Work. So, yeah. How did I find the answer? You just let go. You let go, you surrender. You trust that everything along the way happened for a reason. May dahilan para sa lahat. There's a reason for everything. And when you don't know the answer, medicine. It's a redemption song. You just decide, hyper-religiosity, let me define what I want that symptom to be. I want that to be a way that I frame things.
Wow.
That's all you're getting. The rest you have to pay for behind doors. Make you click a button and follow a funnel.
Well, you know what? For everyone that's watching right now, I mean, he just said some things that were very powerful when it comes to going through a struggle and going through your journey. You said to be disciplined, to be awake, meaning to be present in the moment, and surrendering. Surrendering itself is a hard process for all of us to go through when we have pain, because we don't want to feel pain. We don't want to feel anything that makes us feel off or not happy or not joyous, essentially. And I think that right there, everything that you said about connecting back to yourself at the root of it is such a powerful thing. And I think that's a concept we all sometimes miss when we're thrown off. We search for external things, maybe grabbing a drink, maybe going shopping. I don't know. I'm not judging those things, but if they truly fulfill you, hey, no judgment here. But for you, I mean, you and your journey of back to yourself, despite how many times you felt lost, and in the odds of other people saying you should take this, take that, and you'll feel better, and you yourself are like, no, this doesn't work for me, and owning that power within you is so powerful. It's powerful because you were able to own yourself. And I think this is for everyone, again, who's watching on this call, like Jeremy is this true example of connecting back to yourself and bringing that concept of self-love, especially in the need of a struggle where you feel disconnected from yourself. I mean, he sought out help from other people and he did his best and he's continuing to do it every day. So Jeremy, thank you so much for sharing that, being disciplined, being awakened, being present to who you are and connecting. And you connect so well with others too. I know, like, just for you to become a coach, you're helping people find their way too and make sense of their story, or helping them move along in the ocean, make sure they ride through their wave. Now your coaching practice came, I mean, after the diagnosis, right? The initial diagnosis was 4 years ago. So how did your coaching practice finally set sail with the journey that went on since 2016?
Water.
Got it. You might want to explain that to other people. What do you mean by water?
Bro,
Great, go there. I know we're both water
this is
signs.
not
I
the
get
secret. This is real talk, self-talk. Self-love.
it. Real talk, huh?
Real talk, real talk.
Self-love. But what
Love
do you mean by
Okay.
water? Please explain.
Right. So what helped the coaching set sail? Water. So it goes back to where it started, right? I'm a Pisces, you're Rose. I love Rose and I don't remember her birthday. That's how you know love, because you just bump all the systems and you're like, gotcha. Anyway, let me stay focused. I took my meds, I promise. That's just part of an artist's mind. Daydreamers, you know, as a tangent that's not so tangential, they often talk about bipolar people being some of the greatest artists, like, you know, Beethoven, the black guy with a wig and powder on his face. So anyway, like we were saying, what's the question, Rose? Set sail. That's on.
Set sail, yes.
Yes. Well, Valentine's Day, you know, I met a little cat who said, love yourself. I was like, okay. And then it went into that whole, you know, society talks about it. Everybody tries to pitch you on the gig. Quit your 9 to 5. Don't let that suck your soul. I mean, it's only the soul that needs to be sucked through the idea of working. They're all just jobs. Revelations, Corinthians. Don't forget about Paul.
Okay.
Paul's cool.
Gotcha.
We love Paul.
Sweet,
that's
sweet.
my. What's that?
Okay, no, go ahead. I thought.
Yeah. No. That's my cousin who's a doctor. His wife's a pharmacist. I mean, you get the point. So followed it to Minnesota. Then I'm like, I'm going to be a doctor of philosophy. So I'm like, how can I put this together, right? I'm a very prayerful person. I was born and raised Catholic by Irish nuns. I believe in Buddha, Allah, all the saints, and agnostic trees, right? So all that being said, I was like, use me, universe. Use me. I don't want to dance. They might think I'm crazy. Although I did this at an airport. I danced in an airport. And I will save the rest of the story for my charted notes with my psychiatrist.
Gotcha.
That's also part of it. Honestly, I made a purposeful slip earlier and said that this is real talk, self-talk, which is what self-love really is how we talk to ourselves in the mirror, right? Like, yo, I got this new friendly creator friend. And I'm like, I love you, visitor. It's like my Cindy Crawford. It's my mini-me. Hello, mini-me. So that's how it set sail. I was like, I'm going to love myself. Valentine's Day, 2/14, 20. Let's just do it. So I was the movement coach. I was doing this. I was in this inner circle coaching group, right? That's where I got that first acronym, MEDS. Shout out to James Hodges. He's a Kiwi. Calls himself an American. Inner Circle. Check him out. And that's that. I was part of that inner circle. And they're like, you can do it. Charge high ticket. See if people are going to pay you $3,000 to talk with you 12 times for 60 minutes. And then you tell them there's no time. You just do art together and play like it's daycare. Why not? Why not do a business that feels like daycare, like taking care of children? And saying, you can do it. And then you don't actually do anything. They just take care of you while you're caring for them. It's an interesting game. I'm on to something though, Rose. I have 0 clients at the current moment thanks to this pandemic. Thank God I had some before the pandemic. So anyway, we're struggling. I need a job. To be honest, I might shelve the practice.
Okay.
You heard
I
it
mean,
live.
you're
That's
right.
real, folks. That is no lie. That stuff is tough.
I mean, you know what? I think a lot of people in the pandemic, are struggling job-wise. I mean, it makes perfect sense. There's a lot.
I
of
don't know
stuff going
how
on
people
right
find
now.
clients or
Well,
who even needs coaching.
You don't know that. Maybe you never know. You never know.
Hi, Rose. She's focused on coaching, and I'm focused on coaching. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. Well, Jeremy, before we go, let me ask
Yes.
you one more question. What would you be name me 3 things that you would say to someone who says, I want to love myself. How can I do that? How can I start to do that? What would you say? 3 things. It's a pretty deep question, huh?
Yeah, so it requires a lot of space.
Okay. Or you can just give me one, if one is the natural thing that comes up for you.
Yeah, the first step in the self-love journey is to breathe. So that's the philosophy of the moment coach experience.
I love that.
You breathe. And then you listen to the beat. It's a collective beat like water if you come back to the mission, vision, and purpose. So breathe is the mission, to be water. Be is the vision, to see water. Everyone, everything is water. And so if this is about a self-love journey, we breathe, we beat, and we be.
I love that. Can you repeat those 3 steps one more time, please?
Sure. Step 1 is to breathe. So as a quick little nugget of gold for you, we can do a balanced breath. Shout out to Lucas Rockwood, 2007 Gravity Yoga. It's really just stretching. So it would be tongue to the roof of your mouth. We're integrating chi here. Plant your feet into the ground. Inhale for 4, exhale for 4, out through the nose, in through the mouth. Begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 5. And then you say namaste to yourself. May these practices heal our souls. May these practices heal our souls. May these practices heal our souls. Yeah, then you get to be again. You just repeat the process. Breathe.
Love it. Thanks, Jeremy. You are amazing. You're amazing, amazing. So before we head off, I just want to give Jeremy's social media contacts. So he is on Instagram. What is your name again? So people can find you.
Moment_mover.
So please check out his page. He also offers a coaching practice. And for anyone who works with him, I guarantee that you will get a lifetime of great experience and openness. And I want to just give you I'm just full of gratitude for you for joining me on this call today. I do apologize again that we're a little bit late starting, but I hope you got some really good nuggets out of this conversation. And just to first off, breathe, be awakened, be present to your moment, let go, connect. I mean, so many great things to start off your journey with self-love. Anyway, we will do this chat again next month. I'll have on a different guest on Real Talk Self-Love. But until then, please take care of yourselves, and be well. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks, Jeremy.